Okay, by 2017, craft beer sales is expected to reach 20% of the US beer market. And hence, how does Moa Brewery capitalize on this growing market? Northridge Consulting is here to tell you more. So firstly, to understand the strengths of Moa Brewery. First, it has a strong New Zealand heritage, being situated at the world-renowned winemaking region of Marlborough, and also being the official sponsor of the 2010 New Zealand Olympic team. And secondly, it's made from premium quality ingredients that are sourced from New Zealand. And third, it adopts a very unique methodology through bottle fermentation that gives its unique softer field taste that has won itself multiple awards and accolades throughout international beer competitions across countries like Australia, Asia, and New Zealand. So hence, we can see that Moa was well positioned to succeed the US beer market. However, currently, Moa Brewery accounts for less than 0.001% of the US beer market. And looking at the US beer market, it's saturated with many players. And excluding the big giants and the top 3 players that accounts for more than 50% of the US beer market, the market is still saturated with small companies in the US beer market. Hence, it is important for Moa Brewery to compete through product differentiation and brand differentiation. So the issue that Moa Brewery currently faces is that its current advertising strategy leads to a confusion in its brand image. So take the investment statements by Moa Brewery for example. There's Mad Men and FHM inspired that features its mentioned board in suits and ladies in black skirts and white blouses, as opposed to being official partner of 2010 New Zealand Olympic team. You can see there's an inconsistency in branding image that it portrays and a clear distinct mismatch in its desire with its advertising efforts and its desired brand image as being a super premium craft beer. And this is dangerous because branding inconsistency is shown to lead to a loss of customers' trust, and hence Moa Brewery stands a chance to be more easily forgotten. And hence, our group believes that Moa needs to adopt a more consistent marketing strategy that's aligned with its desired brand image of being a super premium craft beer. So in view of all these issues, our group has come up with 3 key performance indicators. Firstly, we want to increase the number of customers. We want to increase the total market share from the current 0.001% in the US beer market to 0.02%. And secondly, we want to increase customer satisfaction through achieving a Net Promoter Score, a metric that measures the customer satisfaction through the likeliness of customers to promote a drink through the peers to 15 points. And we also want to improve its brand image to becoming a brand that's associated with quality, legacy, and life. So now I'll pass the time to Chen Yang, which will tell us more about the strategy.
Thank you, Chinan. So now I'll be bringing you through the 2-pronged approach of strategize and engage. So as the saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. This is why we have engaged our strategy of strategizing to allocate inventory and marketing efforts to high demand states. What am I talking about? We prioritize our marketing efforts to states that are ranked by demand. So how do we do this? We use the economic impact of craft beer as a proxy for demand. We rank this from the states from 1 to 50, and we chose the top 10 states. As you can see, the top 10 states have a disproportionately large amount of economic impact of craft beer. We are talking about craft beer only, not beer. So this is a very good estimate of the demand in the state. So we are a new entrant into the US market. We are being encroached by really big competitors such as Budweiser, who are producing their new range of craft beers called Project 12. So we cannot afford to spread ourselves too thin. This is why we strongly advocate the reduction of our distribution in states to entrench our presence in the top 10 states of 32%. So this will allow us to have a magnified presence in these states to really build a strong foundation before we branch out to other states. In view of Moa's limited human and financial resources, we want to consolidate our resources and strengthen foundations. So we understand that St. Killian is currently distributing the Whole Food Market and Yard House. Alright, this is fantastic, great. They have extraordinary reach. St. Killian can distribute up to 45 states in the total of 50 states. However, we do not want to just stay in this super premium market. We want to retain what is good and further increase our marketing efforts to hotels and clubs in societies, because these avenues and these markets provide an experience to customers who are exactly our target audience, the super premium. They are willing and able to pay for quality and new experiences. Who are these consumers? I'll touch on that a little on. So the areas that we are looking to expand to are boutique hotels such as Thompson, Chicago, and Pine Valley Country Club, a golf club located in California, US. So our customer segments, these are our customer segments, including the hedonists who just want a pleasurable time, right? They want to party, they indulge in alcohol. So these are the people who go to your regular supermarkets, your Tesco, to buy regular beer. So they are not so lucrative to us because they won't look for specialty beer, which is what we are producing. The casual drinkers, they just want to connect with their friends over a bottle of cider. They might go to premium supermarkets, but that's might. So they are still looking at the usual supermarkets, right? However, when we're looking at epicures, they are the people who really appreciate all kinds of craft beers. They go to specialty shops such as Brewworks and Wine Connection, and they specifically look for the kinds of craft beer that they want. Lastly, we have the beer snobs. So they have high disposable incomes, and as a result, they only look for the cream of the crop. They want the best of the best. So this is what we can provide as well. They play in upscale hotels, clubs, and societies. So these are the areas which can target them. So we really want to bring our beers to the taps of these avenues to target these more lucrative segments, as the epicures and beer snobs are exactly what we are looking for. They are exactly our target audiences. So we feel that this is the most effective way of marketing to them. First, we go into the states. Where are we going? Then after that, who are we targeting in these states? This will ensure that we have a holistic marketing strategy that finds only the cream of the crop. So now I'll be passing the time on to Natasha, who will be telling you how we exactly position ourselves.
Thank you, Chin Yang. Our second strategy, engage. What we want to do is to build an engagement and a consistency with our audience by building an involvement through a defined experience and brand consistency. Now with that, we bring to you Memoirs with More. What are we trying to do? Our crew will engage with people, with our board of directors, with our founders, with our Olympians, with people in general, in parks, in beers. And we just engage and converse with them and talk over a more beer. And we will record stories, these conversations, we will post these footages on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, where they will be harnessing the power of empowerment and humanity. Now this brings a certain warmth to the branding of Moi, and it shows and justifies, it sends back, it drives through the message that Moi is a brand for legacy and long-standing tradition. So, on our end, we'll be telling the stories of how our beers came about, the work that went behind the beer, the inspiration, different stories, and this builds a certain transparency and a relationship with customers. We bridge that gap. Now, in humanity and human history, we have seen that nothing is more impactful than an experience packed onto an emotion, which is what Memoirs with More wants to bring. We bring that warmth and we bring a certain affinity to the customers. And also, this approach is a more refined approach in showing that Moi is here to be an advocate to celebrate life, individuality that he has been doing so far, and of stories. Okay, so the US Brewers Association has found that taste in the craft beer industry has been imperative. That is something that is within Moi's arsenal, where with all the awards and the accolades, that is something that we can provide. However, brand strategy and marketing, the authenticity and experience behind craft beer itself is equally important, and that is something that we intend to bring forward with our Memoirs with More. Also, through an emotional language, it draws our audience to join us into understanding our products and having an interest in human understanding. It is a good conversation starter, which is something that people in US appreciate. They enjoy talking about concepts, ideas, thoughts, opinions, and that is something we will latch on. Also, with this, we will build our brand prestige and presence. By showing that we are involved with the audience, with our audience, MOA will define itself as a strong, positioned advocate of quality and of legacy. And the beauty of this strategy is that it's low cost. Viral marketing works well in that it works well with craft beer, as craft beer is very built on peer reviews and over conversation. Now, looking at MOA's existing branding image. Now we see that with the Madman and FHM inspired concept, it can be a little controversial. Its non-political correctness can pose, it has been working well, but it can pose certain challenges moving forward in going into the US market and reaching out to a greater audience. And with that, we still want to maintain MOA's individuality, but through premiumization. We maintain a consistent premium brand through quality, maturity, and legacy. And this links well with MOA's current image of being an Olympian supporter. Now, class sells, which is why we make it and we see it that it is important to present a more polished and refined overall branding presence. Now, in rolling out our marketing strategies, we intend to post just 10 to 20-second videos on YouTube, on our Instagram pages where we have high traffic of audiences, and we just show stories of how, we just show the backdrop, the origins, and what went into the making of the beer. And this is a way, and the setting of the videos are in aspirational and stunning backdrops. And this is effective in presenting MOA as a bold, elegant, and delicious beer to have and desire. And we will have the video advertisements showing the technicalities behind the brewing. Now picture this. You see the process, the thought that goes behind it. You see the journey from cask to glass. And you see that MOA is attentive to detail. Now, the craft beer drinkers, the profile of craft beer drinkers is they look into the technicalities of the drink. And so with this, we allow our audience to journey with us to see what happens from the brewery to the bar. With that, I pass the time to Zia for risk and mitigation.
Okay, thank you, Natasha. So I'll share a few more about our risk and mitigation. So for our first risk, some of you might be asking, so what about the other 40 states in the US? So I'd like to counter that by saying that our first recommendation, we want to first get a sizable market share in the top 10 states first before we move on to the other 40 states. We are not saying that we are closing our doors on the other 40 states. So we will do a periodic market analysis, which I will show you in the timeline following next, and we will prioritize the emerging markets so that we can enter in the next period. For our second risk, we feel that the customer might not be receptive to the marketing campaign. However, this is a very what-if question. What if the customer is not receptive to this? What if the customer is not receptive to our Facebook? So we plan to mitigate this by working together with a professional design studio as well as a marketing company, and we'll focus on three factors: opportunity planning, product placing, and launch timing to mitigate these risks. So once again, our strategy, which is to strategize and to engage, will both increase our consumer base as well as to revamp our brand image to become a more premium brand. So once again, our KPI is to increase customer, to increase satisfaction, and improve our brand image. So for our implementation timeline, I'd like to point out that for our strategizing, we will first target the first 10 states, and for our next phase, we'll go to our next 10 states, and the next phase will be another 10 states. So therefore, we will have a strategic review every year for both the strategizing and the engagement part. For financials, after a modest calculation, we have concluded that we have a 16.7% CAGR throughout the years. Yeah. So here's to hitting the right note. Cheers. Thank you.
We'll now begin with Q&A.
So, I think it's great that you guys segment the market. Yeah, looking at the different The question question is, do these epicures and beer snob, do they actually use Facebook, Instagram? And is it the right channel to actually target them? And why do we still need to shift our brand positioning when we are doing well?
So if you look at the Aboriginal beer stock profile, you see that for Aboriginal why the 21-year-old would be an actor. So 21-year-old would be a and based on the law, we are not limiting our 21 or millennials to say that they are the other end of the spectrum. So our marketing will be exposed.
Next question is, assuming that you guys identify the right channel, you mentioned about viral marketing and stuff. Tell me a bit more about how much you're spending and how you're going to do that to make yourself viral.
Okay, I'll take that question. So, under our financials, so we took into account how much Facebook ad, Instagram ad, Google AdWords, as well as the share production and total marketing efforts. And the assumption is that for the first year you come to an additional 50K. For the first year you come to an additional 50K because it's the first year. And for which the rest of the years are all going to be annual cost. Because we are a very small company, we only $16 million in our cash. Really, the viral marketing is the way forward because it's a very low cost but very effective marketing channel to campaign ourselves.
So, you talk a bit, you shared about the budget. What about the communications or what's your proposition that you think will make you viral?
If we look at case like this, we see a good example of the Humans of Beyond, right? They are an NGO, right? But they gain traction in that they just share experiences and inspiration. And that is something that, as humans, when be it an office worker or a young teenager, that's something that we really want to enjoy. Yeah. And so with that, we want to build on that and bring it to our
So the beauty of viral marketing is that it does not need to reach the target segments through the first primary level of outreach, right? It can be shared through word of mouth. That is the primary means of spreading of viral marketing. So we are banking on the fact that this will be interesting enough to capture the share of minds of consumers, and that they will share these with the beer snobs, with the epicures, as long as they see an interest in craft beers. So in this aspect, we hope that it will be widespread enough, assuming that our content is novel, creative, and captures the interest.
the whole thing behind it is not just public approach, but we also share our stories from our hands from the mouth. So you're saying that the meeting at Scotland, they share instances how they got in the flavor, right? And so the advertising, a lot of people become curious because they want to, oh, this is how beer is made, or this is what thought put into it, and that's how you actually join the. So while there may be an indirect and not so targeted approach to just Aboriginal, it helps in bringing people to the Aboriginal
Have any market size of kiosks and beer sales, and how many, can I get an estimate of how big this market is and whether it will make financial sense?
Actually, by nature of the craft beer industry, we don't have a the craft beer industry is basically, if you are saying beer industry in general, then you segment Aboriginal and but craft beer in general, a lot of them are Aboriginal. The nature of the drinkers of craft beer are that they appreciate
how many additional points of sales will I have, and as such, how many additional people access beer I can sell.
For go micro into you for the before that mentioned. Now the whole okay, whole food people go to whole food quality. That how on the experience and the similar for that for those who are people pay for experience, which is essentially what our beer is about. And so when we place it at these places, this will be the section.
How many hotels and country clubs are there specifically for these two branches, and what's the expected, visitorship of these places?
Okay, I'll take that question. So we are looking at really 10 states, right? So we will, our target is to find at least 20% of the boutique hotels in each of these 10 states. So we start from a conservative approach and we slowly build on that. And through this 20%, we will assume that there is around 15 to 30% of epicures and religious stores in these.
So you are telling me those two are examples of places that you
Correct.
go to and you will find these hotels and country clubs in the next.
Yes.
Last question on that. Just kind of curious. You're going to this 10 hotels, right? What exactly would be? Would it be sold operationally on tap, or would it be sold?
Let me take that question. So I would say that it will be sold on tap and in special reserve bottles. So a bit different for each distribution channel. So on tap for most of the boutique hotels, and for the golf clubs, yacht clubs, super premium, we give them the special reserve. Because we have three different types of product ranges. Right? We have the entry level, we have fine dining, and we have special reserve. So special reserve really goes to the golf and yacht clubs, which are patronized by the listeners. And but the on tap will go to the bars inside the boutique hotels.
So why difference in the approach? Why can't you have on tap in the country club?
That is definitely a consideration that we look for in looking forward.
I have a question. I see that your second strategy is about raising awareness. So how are you going to drive, so you get awareness already, how are you going to drive the conversion of these people? What makes them choose Moa over whatever is in that location?
So what happens in the craft beer industry is that there are a lot of competitors, and while taste is important, taste is good, but because of the saturation of competitors, what makes craft beer stand out is the marketing to be memorable. And so what we are trying to do is this also acts as a defense to keeping our existing customers. So now we are going on a conservative approach, assuming that we do not convert, we just defend and we'll keep our sales as is. We see that without branding and marketing, sales could potentially drop because we are lost in the noise. So this acts as
So your marketing strategy is a defensive strategy.
to support our first strategy. And this is a conservative approach because we do anticipate conversion, but we do not account for that yet.
So your first strategy is on the
Increase of distribution
distribution channels, right? So
Yes.
we have it all in our distribution channels already. So what makes people want to buy our beers in those distribution channels?
So, research has shown that when people buy a beer, they do not only buy because it's delicious, but because they feel like of the taste, they like the taste of the flavor, but rather it's the attitude surrounding the beer. So it's important that for our second strategy, we are not trying to persuade them to buy the beer per se. We are trying to rebrand ourselves as a beer that they can enjoy a shared experience with, that they can have a quality and have pleasure with. So that's what we are trying to sell. And hopefully through selling this attitude, we are able to convert these customers.
And one last question. Let's talk about rebranding, targeting more specifically. I'm not saying they are wrong, I think I like what I'm hearing. The question is, that in retrospect, what exactly are we doing wrong? Like, if you're telling me that we need to change most of the things, what exactly are you carrying forward from the past? Yeah.
Actually, what we're doing well overall is first product good, product great. Branding, they're also great, super premium, except that there's a little confusion. So we're not telling you to, we're not telling you want to change entirely, we're saying you're super premium, let's focus on good things.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Alright.
Right.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.